The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has issued a notification announcing amendments to the A-Waste Management Rules 2022. These revisions, titled the A-Waste Management Amendment Rules 2023, came into effect on the 1st of April 2023. Greetings once again, this is your host, Harshit Simha, continuing our discussion from last week's presentation on waste management. In this concluding episode, we delve deeper into the evolving regulatory landscape governing A-waste in India. The central government, exercising the powers vested in it under Sections 6, 8, and 25 of the Environment Protection Act, 1986, and in accordance with Sub-Rule 3 of Rule 5 of the Environment Protection Rules, 1986, promulgated these amendments. The corresponding notification was published in the Gazette of India under reference number GSR 61A, dated the 30th of January 2023. The principal rules were initially published as GSR 801A on the 2nd of November 2022. Subsequently, the ministry issued another notification dated the 8th of March 2024, introducing a further set of revisions under the A-Waste Management Amendment Rules 2024, which took effect immediately upon their publication in the official gazette. This notification invokes the same enabling provisions of the Environment Protection Act and rules, specifically under Sub-Rule 4 of Rule 5. These amendments mark a significant evolution in India's regulatory framework for A-waste, aiming to enhance compliance, streamline processes, and reinforce environmental safeguards. Now, let us delve into the salient features and implications of the A-Waste Management Amendment Rules 2023 and 2024 to better understand the trajectory of A-Waste governance in India. Slide 2. Key amendments to A-Waste Rules 2023. The A-Waste Management Amendment Rules 2023 introduced several key changes to enhance the regulation and safe disposal of hazardous materials within India's A-Waste management framework. A major amendment was made to Rule 16, Sub-Rule 5, where the phrase, "in the product user documentation," has been replaced with, "as and when required by the Central Pollution Control Board." This change provides greater flexibility in compliance requirements, aligning documentation obligations with CPCB directives. Further, Schedule 2 of the principal rules saw two critical additions. Item 36 was introduced to include cadmium and lead used in solar panels, cells, solar photovoltaic panels, cells, modules. These materials, known for their toxicity, now fall under stricter regulatory oversight to ensure their safe disposal. Additionally, Item 37 was added to include lead in medical devices, specifically excluding those implanted or infected within patients. This inclusion ensures more comprehensive control over A-waste originating from the healthcare sector. These amendments underscore the government's commitment to strengthening environmental safeguards, particularly with regard to hazardous substances in emerging technologies. Slide 3. Overview of the Amendment 2023. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change issued a significant amendment to the A-Waste Management Rules, published on the 24th of July 2023. This regulatory update reflects the government's commitment to strengthening the framework for A-waste management in India, with a particular focus on the safe handling of hazardous components such as refrigerants. The amendment derives its legal authority from Sections 6, 8, and 25 of the Environment Protection Act, 1986, empowering the central government to frame rules for environmental protection. The revised rules came into force immediately upon publication in the official gazette, ensuring prompt implementation without delay. The primary purpose of this amendment is to establish a more secure, accountable, and sustainable system for managing A-waste, especially materials like refrigerants that pose significant environmental risks if not properly handled. By reinforcing compliance and enhancing the regulatory scope, the amendment seeks to mitigate adverse environmental impacts and support the circular economy approach. This update aligns with India's broader environmental objectives and international commitments, ensuring that A-waste is managed responsibly across its life cycle, from production and consumption to final disposal or recycling, thereby promoting ecological sustainability and public health. Slide 4. Key changes in Rule 5. The amendment to Rule 5 of the A-Waste Management Rules 2022 introduces critical updates to strengthen the governance of refrigerant waste. A new clause 4, has been inserted after the existing clause 3, aiming to address the rising environmental concerns associated with refrigerants used in the manufacture of refrigeration and air conditioning equipment. This amendment emphasizes the secure, accountable, and sustainable management of refrigerants, ensuring that such substances are handled responsibly throughout their life cycle. It marks a significant step toward aligning waste management practices with global climate goals by targeting substances with high global warming potential. Moreover, the rule mandates the adoption of destruction technologies approved by the Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB. These guidelines ensure that refrigerants are disposed of using safe and environmentally sound techniques. Together, these changes advance a more holistic and regulated approach to refrigerant and waste management in India. Slide 5. Amendments to Rule 7. The amendment to Rule 7 introduces a significant enhancement in the management of refrigerants by adding Clause 5 after the existing Clause 4. This new provision expands the scope of responsibility for refrigerant management, extending it beyond the manufacturing stage to encompass the end-of-life phase of equipment. A key focus is placed on the proper handling and disposal of refrigerants contained in obsolete or discarded appliances, addressing a critical gap in environmental protection. The amendment mandates adherence to Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB) guidelines for destruction technologies, ensuring that environmentally harmful substances are disposed of in a safe and regulated manner. This update establishes a comprehensive, lifecycle-based approach to refrigerant management, aiming to minimize emissions and environmental risks at every stage. By enforcing stricter compliance requirements, the rule reinforces India's commitment to sustainable waste practices and climate protection. Slide 6. Change to Rule 9. The amendment to Rule 9 of the waste management rules introduces a new provision through the addition of Clause 11, expanding the scope of responsibilities concerning refrigerant waste. Originally comprising 10 clauses, Rule 9 now incorporates a specific mandate focused on the sustainable management of refrigerants found in end-of-life refrigeration and air conditioning equipment. This change places the onus on all stakeholders involved in waste management to ensure proper handling, recovery, and disposal of refrigerants, thereby addressing a critical environmental concern. Importantly, the implementation of this requirement must align with the guidelines issued by the Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, particularly regarding the use of approved destruction technologies. The amendment strengthens the regulatory framework by introducing a lifecycle approach to refrigerant management, ensuring that hazardous substances are effectively controlled during disposal. It reflects India's commitment to environmentally sound waste practices and mitigation of climate-related risks. Slide 7. Modification to Rule 14. The amendment to Rule 14 of the waste management rules introduces a crucial refinement to the Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) certification process. Specifically, it adds Sub-Clause C to Clause E of Sub-Rule 1, aimed at enhancing the accountability and traceability of recycling outcomes, especially when the process yields multiple end products. This modification establishes a formal framework for determining conversion factors to be used in the issuance of EPR certificates. These conversion factors are essential for accurately quantifying and crediting the recycling output when various end products are derived from the same waste stream. By doing so, it ensures a more robust and transparent method of calculating EPR entitlements. The guidelines for determining these conversion factors are to be issued by the Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, with necessary approval from a steering committee. This process strengthens oversight and fosters consistency in implementation. Furthermore, the amendment includes provisions for recycling with multiple end products, thereby recognizing the complexities of modern recycling technologies. Overall, this change reinforces the integrity of the EPR framework by promoting proper accounting of recycled materials, ultimately contributing to better compliance, environmental sustainability, and resource efficiency in waste management. Slide 8. Amendment to Rule 16. The amendment to Rule 16 of the waste management rules introduces significant revisions aimed at refining the regulatory approach to exemptions related to hazardous substances. The original Sub-Rule 2 has been replaced with a more detailed version that clarifies exemptions for components and consumables placed in the market before May 1, 2014, if RoHS-compliant alternatives are unavailable. Additionally, two new sub-rules, 2A and 2B, have been inserted. These provide exemptions for equipment listed in Schedule 1C, placed in the market before April 1, 2025, and their components until April 1, 2028, under similar conditions of unavailability of compliant alternatives. Further, sub-rules 3 and 13 have been modified by inserting the words and Schedule 2A after Schedule 2, thereby extending the application of these provisions to the newly added schedule. These amendments enhance regulatory clarity and flexibility, ensuring smooth transitions while upholding environmental safety standards. Slide 9. Schedule Modifications. The recent amendments to the waste management rules introduce substantial schedule modifications aimed at enhancing clarity, precision, and regulatory compliance in the categorization and management of electrical and electronic equipment. One of the key changes is the removal of serial number 37 and its associated entries from Schedule 2, reflecting efforts to streamline and update existing classifications. In its place, three new, more detailed schedules have been introduced: Schedule 2A, Schedule 2B, and Schedule 2C. These additions offer a comprehensive categorization of waste, ensuring more precise regulation and enabling stakeholders to better understand their compliance responsibilities. The revised schedules provide detailed classifications for various types of equipment, improving transparency and facilitating accurate tracking of product categories throughout their life cycle. This structure also supports effective enforcement and monitoring of extended producer responsibility (EPR) targets. Importantly, the modification includes specific implementation timelines. These timelines vary depending on the category of equipment and the market placement dates, allowing stakeholders adequate time to adapt to the changes while ensuring smoother transitions. Overall, the schedule modifications reinforce India's commitment to a structured, transparent, and sustainable waste management framework. Slide 10. Schedule Modifications. The medical device exemptions categories outline specific allowances for the use of hazardous substances in medical devices due to their critical functional roles. These exemptions are essential to ensure the performance, safety, and reliability of medical technologies where no viable alternatives exist. Ionizing radiation equipment exemptions permit the use of lead, cadmium, and mercury in devices such as X-ray tubes, radiation detectors, and shielding, which are crucial for diagnostic imaging and radiation protection. Sensors and detectors include exemptions for hazardous substances like lead and cadmium in ion-selective electrodes, lead anodes in oxygen sensors, and mercury in reference electrodes, all of which are vital for accurate medical monitoring and diagnostics. Critical medical applications cover the use of lead in defibrillator solders, superconducting materials, and ultrasonic transducers, ensuring effective life-saving interventions and precise diagnostic capabilities. Specialized equipment exemptions allow substances like cadmium in helium-cadmium lasers and lead in atomic absorption spectroscopy lamps, which are indispensable in advanced diagnostic and therapeutic procedures. These exemptions, as outlined in Schedule EA, recognize the necessity of certain substances for technical and safety reasons in medical devices, balancing regulatory restrictions with practical healthcare needs. Slide 11. Schedule 2B, IT and Consumer Electronics. Schedule 2B, IT and Consumer Electronics outlines the classification of electronic equipment into specific categories for regulatory and compliance purposes, particularly under waste and hazardous substances management rules. It highlights three primary segments. 1. Centralized data processing encompasses mainframes and servers used under the EESW6 code. This category includes large-scale computing systems designed for data-intensive applications in enterprise environments. These systems are critical for handling complex computations and vast databases across various industries. 2. Personal computing devices, classified under codes EESW1, EESW2, and EESW3, refer to consumer-facing products such as desktop computers, laptops, notebooks, and netbooks. These devices represent the most common touchpoints for individual users and are essential tools for communication, productivity, and entertainment. 3. Consumer electronics, including television sets, EESW10, refrigerators, EESW11, washing machines, EESW14, and air conditioners, EESW13, form the third category. These items are widely used in households and are key contributors to the generation of electronic waste due to their shorter life cycles and mass adoption. Schedule 2B serves as a framework for managing the environmental impact of these products by enabling targeted regulations, promoting sustainable disposal, and enhancing the effectiveness of recycling and recovery systems for electronic goods. Slide 12, Schedule 2C, Expanded Category. It provides a detailed classification of electrical and electronic equipment, AE, to facilitate proper regulation, management, and environmentally sound disposal of e-waste. By broadening the scope beyond traditional IT and consumer electronics, it ensures comprehensive oversight of a wide range of devices. 1. IT and telecommunication equipment, codes ITEW1, ITEW7, includes widely used devices such as BTS systems, tablets, routers, GPS units, and UPS systems. These items are essential for digital connectivity and communication infrastructure. 2. Consumer electronics, code CEEW1, CEEW6, covers familiar entertainment and home devices like televisions, display panels, set-top boxes, radios, and cameras. Their frequent replacement cycles make them a significant source of e-waste. 3. Large and small equipment, codes LSEEW1, LSEEW6, encompasses everyday household items such as ovens, washing machines, vacuum cleaners, and electric stoves. These appliances, while often durable, eventually contribute to bulk e-waste due to size and material composition. 4. Electronic tools, codes ETEEW1, ETEEW4, include devices like drills, saws, and welding equipment used in construction, repair, and manufacturing. This category ensures that professional tools are also managed under e-waste regulations. 5. Toys and sports equipment, codes TSEEW1, TSEEW3, consist of electronic games, fitness gear, and recreational devices incorporating electronic components. Often overlooked, this segment has a growing environmental impact. By categorizing a broader array of AE, Schedule 2C supports effective collection, recycling, and recovery under India's e-waste framework. This holistic classification system ensures no significant device type is excluded from regulatory oversight, promoting sustainable practices across both residential and industrial sectors. Slide 13. IT and telecommunication equipment. The category of IT and telecommunication equipment has undergone significant expansion under the updated regulatory framework for electronic waste management. Originally comprising 11 categories listed in Schedule 2B, ITEW1, ITEW11, this domain now includes an additional 11 new categories introduced under Schedule 2C, ITEW1 to ITEW22. This broadens the scope of covered equipment to align with rapid technological advancements and the growing use of electronic communication devices. The expanded list now incorporates a diverse range of devices including BTS components, tablets, smartphones, routers, GPS systems, UPS systems, internet modems, and various data storage devices. These devices are essential for personal, professional, and industrial communication and computing. A key regulatory milestone is the Compliance Year 2025, which sets the deadline for these newly included categories to adhere to the rules on Extended Producer Responsibility (ROE). This ensures producers are accountable for the collection, recycling, and environmentally sound disposal of their products post-consumer use. By revising and expanding the category definitions, the amendment reflects the evolving landscape of digital and telecommunications technology. It strengthens e-waste regulation, enhances collection systems, and promotes circular economy practices in the rapidly growing electronics sector. Slide 14. Consumer electronics categories. The consumer electronics categories under Schedule 2C provide a comprehensive classification for various electronic products widely used in households and commercial spaces. This expanded categorization ensures effective monitoring, regulation, and environmentally sound disposal of e-waste generated by consumer electronics. Key categories include 1. Display devices, CPCB-6. This includes screens, electronic photo frames, display panels, and monitors, which are commonly replaced and contribute significantly to electronic waste volumes. 2. Audiovisual equipment, CPCB-1, CPCB-5, comprising radios, set-top boxes, video cameras, video recorders, and speakers. This category represents a large segment of entertainment electronics frequently used and discarded. 3. Lighting equipment, CPCB-9, covers various types of lamps and luminaires, which are essential for both residential and commercial lighting and often contain hazardous components requiring proper handling. 4. Solar equipment, CPCB-14, includes solar panels, inverters, and photovoltaic modules. With the rising adoption of renewable energy systems, this category ensures that end-of-life solar components are managed sustainably. This structured classification under Schedule 2C enhances regulatory clarity, supports extended producer responsibility (EPR) implementation, and promotes the safe recycling of diverse electronic products. It is a crucial step toward minimizing environmental harm and advancing circular economy goals in the electronics sector. Slide 15. Large and small electrical equipment. Large and small electrical equipment is a vital category under the expanded scope of e-waste regulation, addressing a wide range of commonly used electrical appliances in both residential and commercial settings. The classification, presented in a structured hierarchy, ensures the effective tracking and environmentally responsible disposal of these devices at the end of their life cycle. At the top of the pyramid is cooling and refrigeration equipment, which includes large appliances like refrigerators, freezers, and other cooling units. These devices typically contain refrigerants and insulation materials that can be hazardous if not properly disposed of, making them a priority in e-waste handling. Next are kitchen appliances, such as cookers, stoves, microwaves, and dishwashers. These items are frequently replaced due to wear, energy efficiency upgrades, or technological advancements and contribute significantly to household e-waste. Cleaning equipment, including vacuum cleaners, carpet sweepers, and other motorized cleaning devices, falls under the next tier. While often compact, they consist of motors, batteries, and plastic components that require proper dismantling and recycling. Home appliances such as fans, irons, sewing machines, and air purifiers follow, representing smaller devices that are widely used and discarded without much attention to their environmental impact. At the base of the pyramid are automatic dispensers for drinks, products, and money. Though less common in homes, they are extensively used in commercial environments and require proper e-waste management due to their complex mechanical and electronic components. Slide 16. Electrical and electronic tools. The electrical and electronic tools category provides a detailed classification of tools widely used in professional and household settings, supporting comprehensive e-waste management. These tools are regulated under an expanded framework to ensure their proper disposal and recycling, reducing environmental risks associated with end-of-life equipment. Key subcategories include power tools, EETW1, EETW4. This includes drills, saws, and equipment for turning, milling, grinding, sanding, and cutting. These tools are essential in construction, repair, and manufacturing but often contain motors and batteries that require careful handling. Textile equipment, EETW5, covers sewing machines and other textile processing tools used in households and the garment industry, which contribute to a niche yet significant stream of electronic waste. Joining and finishing tools, EETW6, comprising devices for riveting, nailing, screwing, and welding. These tools are critical for construction and metalwork sectors. Garden equipment, EETW8, encompasses tools for mowing and gardening, including electric lawnmowers and trimmers. These are increasingly common in both residential and commercial landscaping. The amendment broadens the regulatory scope from traditional tools to include equipment used in gardening and textile applications. This holistic categorization ensures effective lifecycle management of electronic tools across diverse sectors. Slide 17. Toys, leisure and sports equipment. Toys, leisure, and sports equipment have been formally categorized under the e-waste regulatory framework to address the growing volume of recreational electronics. Classified under codes TLSEW1 through TLSEW6, this category ensures that electronic products used for entertainment and sports are included in proper e-waste management systems. Key items include electrical trains, handheld video game devices, video game consoles, and computers for sports training. Additionally, sports electronics like fitness tracker and interactive gear, as well as coin slot machines used in gaming arcades, fall within this scope. These products often contain batteries, circuit boards, and other components that pose environmental risks if not disposed of correctly. The inclusion of this category reflects the rising adoption of electronic entertainment devices, especially among younger users and gaming enthusiasts. It highlights the need for consumer awareness around the recycling and end-of-life handling of such devices. By extending e-waste regulation to toys and sports equipment, the amendment closes a significant regulatory gap. It promotes sustainable disposal practices, encourages producer responsibility, and supports the development of a circular economy in the electronics sector, ultimately ensuring environmental protection across all product categories, including those once considered outside traditional e-waste domains. Slide 18, Medical Devices Categories. The medical devices categories under the updated e-waste regulations provide a structured classification of electronic medical equipment to ensure responsible end-of-life management of healthcare technologies. The devices are categorized under codes MDW1 through MDW10, encompassing diagnostic, treatment, and specialized medical equipment. Diagnostic equipment, MDW1-MDW3, includes critical imaging and scanning devices such as magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, computed tomography, CT, ultrasound machines, and laboratory equipment used for clinical diagnostics. These machines contain sophisticated electronics and hazardous substances, necessitating safe disposal protocols. Treatment equipment, MDW4-MDW6, covers devices like radiotherapy machines, cardiology equipment, dialysis machines, and pulmonary ventilators. These tools play a vital role in patient care and require careful handling at the end of their operational lifespan to avoid health and environmental risks. Specialized medical devices, MDW7-MDW10, include nuclear medicine equipment, analyzers, fertility test devices, and various other niche instruments designed for specific medical purposes. The amendment ensures that all types of medical electronic devices are included within the e-waste management framework. This not only promotes extended producer responsibility, EPR, but also supports safer disposal and recycling of medical electronics. Ultimately, it helps protect human health, reduces environmental contamination, and advances sustainability in the medical technology sector. Slide 19, Laboratory Instruments. The laboratory instruments category has been systematically introduced under the e-waste framework to regulate the disposal of high-precision scientific equipment used in research, industrial, and environmental applications. These instruments are classified under the codes LIW1 and LIW2, ensuring targeted and efficient e-waste management. Gas analyzers, LIW1, comprise specialized laboratory devices designed to assess gas compositions in various environments. These analyzers are crucial for scientific studies, air quality monitoring, and industrial processes, and often contain sensitive electronic components that require environmentally safe disposal. Equipment with electrical components, LIW2, is a broad classification encompassing all types of laboratory instruments that incorporate electrical or electronic parts. This includes items used for measuring, monitoring, and conducting experiments. Since these devices may contain hazardous materials and complex circuitry, their inclusion in the regulatory framework is essential for safe recycling and reuse. Integrated laboratory systems refer to advanced setups that combine multiple laboratory instruments for functions such as analysis, diagnostics, and testing. These systems are widely used in clinical, pharmaceutical, and academic settings and represent high-value, technology-intensive assets that must be properly managed when obsolete. This comprehensive categorization supports sustainable research practices, minimizes hazardous waste, and aligns laboratory operations with global environmental compliance standards. Slide 20, Implementation Timeline and Compliance. The implementation timeline and compliance under the E-Waste Management Framework highlights key deadlines for the phased regulation of electronic waste in India, particularly post the 2023 amendments. The E-Waste Management, Second Amendment, rules became effective in 2023, signaling the beginning of stricter e-waste handling norms, especially for environmentally sensitive components. A significant compliance deadline is set for 2025 for equipment listed under Schedule 2C, marking the mandatory date for adherence to new compliance provisions. This includes adherence to hazardous substance restrictions and extended producer responsibilities, EPR. The final compliance deadline arrives in 2028, where all components listed under the regulations must fully conform to the hazardous substance elimination requirements. This long-term deadline is designed to ensure that producers, especially in sectors like refrigeration and IT hardware, gradually transition toward safer, sustainable manufacturing practices. The amendments mandate immediate implementation of uniform compliance mechanisms while offering transition periods for specific components. Stakeholders are expected to align their operations with sustainable e-waste management practices, ensuring environmental protection through the reduction of toxic substances and improved recycling initiatives. Slide 21. Key amendments to E-Waste Rules -2024. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has issued a notification dated the 8th of March 2024, introducing amendments to the E-Waste Management Rules 2022. These amendments, known as the E-Waste Management Amendment Rules 2024, came into force on the date of their publication in the Official Gazette. The notification exercises powers conferred by Sections 6, 8 and 25 of the Environment Protection Act, 1986, read with Sub-Rule 4 of Rule 5 of the Environment Protection Rules, 1986. The amendments introduce significant changes to the existing framework for e-waste management in India. The 2024 amendments to the e-waste rules introduce key changes aimed at improving regulatory clarity, easing compliance, and enhancing environmental governance. One major revision is the redefinition of dismantler, which now refers to any person or entity engaged in dismantling electrical and electronic equipment in line with Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB) guidelines. This change aligns the definition with current technical and safety standards, ensuring greater accountability in dismantling operations. Another significant update is the relaxation of timelines through the insertion of Rule 9A. This provision allows the central government to extend deadlines for filing returns or reports by manufacturers, refurbishers, or recyclers for up to 3 months, in cases of genuine need. This change reflects responsiveness to the operational challenges faced by stakeholders. Additionally, the introduction of EPR certificate exchange empowers the central government to establish platforms for trading extended producer responsibility (EPR) certificates. This measure facilitates market-based compliance, helping producers fulfill their obligations more efficiently. With this episode, we conclude our comprehensive 30-part video series on waste management, encompassing all pertinent updates and regulatory changes as of the 29th of June 2025. This series aimed to provide an in-depth understanding of the evolving waste governance landscape in India. As we wrap up this phase, our focus now transitions to the much-anticipated subject of energy efficiency within India's dynamic energy sector. We invite you to join us once again in the first weekend of July 2025, as we embark on this new journey. Until then, take pleasure in the refreshing onset of the monsoon season. Let the shimmering rains rejuvenate the environment around you and inspire a greener, more sustainable world. Stay connected and stay informed.